The FBI has been lying about mass shooting incidences stopped in their tracks by a good guy with a gun. Watch my video and learn all about it.
Notice how every time a mass shooting happens, the media won't shut up about it? They'll run it on loop, plaster it across every screen and tell you we need more gun control, but when an armed citizen stops a mass shooting, there's nothing. Well, I just got my hands on a new study that absolutely wrecks the anti-gun argument. That good guys with guns don't stop bad guys. And if you believe what the media tells you, you're about to get your mind blown. So my good friend John Lott and his team at the Crime Prevention Research Center just dropped a bombshell study on armed citizens stopping active shooters. And this thing completely demolishes every fear-mongering excuse the anti-gun crowd throws at us. You know the nonsense I'm talking about too. Civilians will just shoot the wrong person. Police might mistake them for the shooter. Turns out that's all a lie. Because Lott and his team dug through every reported case of concealed carry permit holders stopping an active shooter from 2014 to 2023. And the numbers? Yeah, well, they tell a completely different story.
AOL report reveals FBI undercounts instances of armed civilians thwarting mass shootings. The FBI is vastly undercounting cases of armed civilians thwarting mass shootings in the U.S. in its public crime data, according to new research. Civilians with guns stopped at least 36% of active shooters from 2014 to 2024, despite the FBI recording the figure as 3.7. The Crime Prevention Research Center said in a report released Friday. Legacy media and fact checkers previously used the FBI's data to drive the narrative that such cases are rare, minimizing the public benefits of legal gun access. Armed civilians stopped at least 47%, nearly half of reported active shooters in the U.S. in 2024, whereas the FBI recorded zero, the CPRC found, citing the local news coverage for each case. Most of these incidents were overlooked by the FBI, while others were misclassified, the group reported. Some included cases in which civilians with firearms caused would-be active shooters to flee the scene. But the FBI only credited law enforcement for stopping the suspects because police later arrested them, according to the research, which was first reported by Just the News. In June 2024 case, the CPRC noted two men were involved in an altercation at an apartment complex in Martinsburg, West Virginia, in which shots were fired. But a woman came out of her room with a handgun and fired shots back at them, prompting the men to leave and likely preventing further violence, police said. Another incident the FBI excluded occurred in March 2024 when a man reportedly opened fire on a group of men on a road in Thomasville, North Carolina, before others returned fire and killed him, preventing further deaths.
Out of 180 cases where a permit holder stopped an active shooter, only one, 0.56%, involved a bystander being shot. One. Civilians didn't get in the way of police at all. 0 cases, and only one permit holder, 0.56%, had their gun taken from them. So much for the idea that armed citizens are a liability. Now compare that to the police. Over the same period, 27 officers were killed while trying to stop active shooters. 100 more were wounded in shootouts with attackers. And get this, there were 4 cases where police accidentally shot the wrong person, including other cops.
The CPRC noted that such cases are highlighted and are not comprehensive because the news media likely did not cover every active shooter incident in the country since 2014. The FBI did not respond for a request for comment from the Daily Caller News Foundation. The Bureau previously reported addressed the undercounting issue by saying that its numbers are not intended to explore all active shooter incidents, but to give a baseline understanding. Law-abiding citizens stopping these attacks are not rare, the CPRC wrote. What is rare is national news coverage of these incidents.
There are dozens of instances. Even though the media doesn't want to report them, sometimes they get reported. Just this week. Last week, May 25th, 2022, Charleston, West Virginia. Here a man with an extensive criminal history started firing an AR-15 style firearm into a crowd. Fortunately, a woman who was legally carrying a gun was there to stop the attack. She shot the attacker. It ended before anybody got hurt. South Fulton, Georgia. May 3rd, 2022, a teenager started firing his gun at multiple people. There was a large number of people present at the park because of an anti-violence riot. South Fulton, Georgia, this comes from a news report. Meadows said the men involved in the shootout with Hambrick have been cooperative and will likely not be charged since the teenager fired the first shot. After having reviewed most of the witnesses' statements, it appears that the descendant, Mr. Hambrick, discharged his weapon first, and as a result of that, there was an exchange of gunfire between him and two individuals, good guys with the gun. Portland, Oregon, February 19th, 2022. Homeowner allegedly confronted participants at a racial justice demonstration Saturday night before pulling out a handgun and shooting multiple people in the crowd, leaving one woman dead and several others injured. The shooting ended when a person with the group of demonstrators who is licensed to conceal carry a firearm fired back, striking the homeowner in the hip. Again, a good guy with a gun stops the shooting. Lancaster, Pennsylvania, October 17th, 2021. On Sunday, October 17th, 4 people were injured after a fight between two teenagers at Lancaster Park. City Center Mall escalated into a shooting this past weekend. A 16-year-old who was illegally carrying a gun started the shooting, but it could have been much worse were it not for concealed handgun permit holder. A bystander armed with a gun intervened in the shooting one of the participants. The unidentified bystander who legally possessed a firearm had heard gunshots related to the fight between two males that knew each other, police said. The bystander remained on the scene until security and police arrived. Syracuse, New York, August 31st, 2021. The district attorney credited a property manager with saving the lives of several individuals after he pulled out a legally possessed 9mm handgun, the very gun that Joe Biden wants to ban, and fatally wounded a man who opened fire on a crowd outside a building. San Antonio, Texas, August 11, 2021. A woman who crashed into a parked car in San Antonio's West Side neighborhood climbed out of her vehicle and began shooting indiscriminately at people who came out of their homes and rushed to aid her. The armed resident fired back and shot the driver to death, ending the violent threat to the neighborhood. And that was a good guy with a gun, or good gal with a gun sometimes. Fort Myers, Florida, July 22nd, 2021. A man who was a convicted felon and illegally possessing a gun fired multiple shots into a crowd before a bystander returned fire. When the bystander confronted the attacker, he stopped attacking and threw his gun in a parking lot. Fortunately, no one was injured in the attack.
And since the leftists are now the terrorists, I'm sure they don't want to give up their guns, now do they? But just realize, leftist terrorists, that there's always a good guy with a gun who is brave and courageous enough to stop you from murdering innocent people. So I'm pretty sure that leftists, I guess you guys have lost 100% on the gun control, the gun ban, the gun confiscation debate. It's over. You lost.